How did you end up in South Ostrobothnia, and what are you currently doing there?
I ended up in South Ostrobothnia working for the Keittiömi, Supojan Keittiömi-yhdistys, and which is Supoja Development Association. At the time, I was helping them with their international projects, with the coordination of international projects, and obviously I was supporting them also using the internet and new web technologies. 8 months later, I funded my own company, itiv.net, to say it in Finnish, itiv.net. And with itiv, what we do is basically this. It's very simple. We help our clients achieving their objectives using the internet or web-related technologies. And so we support them on a wide range of services. They space from web design to social media to advanced online marketing strategies. That's pretty much what we do. Obviously now it's not just me anymore. The company grew quite a lot during the last years, and so now we have opened also a new office in New York City, and we basically support our clients worldwide.
What do you think is best about South Ostrobothnia and Finland in general?
My favorite thing about South Ostrobothnia is the fast broadband network they have there. So they have one of the fastest broadband network in Europe. So the internet there is really fast, and everything is fiber optic, and I love it. Especially because working and traveling also quite often to other countries where, well, the internet is not that fast, well, you immediately notice a huge difference when you go back to Finland, and especially in South Ostrobothnia. My second favorite thing is sauna. I know it's not just about South Ostrobothnia. Everyone has a sauna in Finland, so you find saunas everywhere. But I link, in my mind the sauna to South Ostrobothnia, because in South Ostrobothnia I had a chance for the first time in my life, not just to experience what the normal sauna is, so electric sauna, wooden sauna, which I love. I go to sauna every single time I can, every weekend, but I had a chance of experiencing like more traditional types of sauna, like Savo sauna, smoked sauna, and those are were like the best times I had in sauna. It's really amazing, and so I connect the two, and I really love it.
What do you think is odd or different here?
What's different? Well, without question, the weather. Not just because it's really cold in winter, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that, for example, in wintertime, you have just few hours of light, and in summer, you have light 24 hours a day. So it's something, at least from the foreign perspective, it's something very strong, impacting. I remember a couple of years ago, it was summer, and it was midnight, and it suddenly started to rain like crazy. And so I went out on my backyard to check what was going on. It was like raining, and I looked up in the sky, and there was a rainbow. So, there was the sun, there was rain, there was this huge rainbow. So I immediately grabbed my camera and I took some videos and photos. I uploaded them to Flickr, and I immediately got feedback and response and comments from my friends from all over the world, and say, "What's going on there? It's midnight and there's a rainbow." And you say, "Yeah, it's quite light here at night, and it's something that not everybody thinks about, but it's very interesting, I would say."
What would you like to change, or which things would you like to be different in Finland?
So if I could change something about Finland, it would be this. So not everyone, but a lot of people in Finland are, well, used to think, inside certain guidelines, respecting all the rules, and they don't question themselves whether the rules are good or not, or could be rethought in a sense. And what I think would be good, it would be, well, start to think a little bit outside of the box without being afraid to break the rules, because innovation also comes, breaking the rules, and doesn't necessarily mean that if something has been done in a certain way for 50, 60, 70 years, it's the right way. There could be even a better way of doing it, but you'll never find out if you don't break the rules. So it's not a criticism, it's a suggestion, and I think this is a shift that is already happening. I see it a lot in younger generations. If you compare the two, older and younger generations, and I think this is happening a lot also because of the internet. Fun enough, like, digital natives now are exposed to a completely different environment. So there's a lot of influence, a global influence that then reflects also at local level. And I think this could definitely influence and make the difference probably in the next decades. I don't know, but that's something that I think could be different. Maybe it will be. I don't know. But that's my point of view.
Okay. And why do you think South Ostrobothnia is worth visiting? What's there to see?
Oh wow, that's an interesting question, because South Ostrobothnia is quite big, and there are a lot of interesting things there. But I would say first thing is the food. I love Finnish food, and in South Ostrobothnia, I was lucky enough to test out and eat some very, very good food. If you have the time of spending some weeks there, I would encourage you to go and visit some little towns and villages on the seaside, on the coast. There you can eat an amazing, smoked fish and all this kind of food, and then there are like a lot of interesting foods. They prepare with berries and potatoes. So you find potatoes cooked in a million different ways, smashed potatoes, baked potatoes, and it's very, very interesting and good. Then another thing that I love is the music scene. There are good music events. In Seinäjoki, there is a nice music festival in the summer. Also in Pori, which is a little bit south, closer to the coast, there is a Pori Jazz, which is an amazing festival. You just don't hear jazz bands, but there is a wide range of bands, international bands too, that come there, and so that's something nice. And the other thing is that well, it's the nature. I come from Italy, and it's a completely different environment there. You don't even understand where a city starts and where it ends, because it's full of buildings everywhere. So for me, like driving the car and 5 minutes being in the middle of the forest, with lovely lakes and nature, and it's amazing. And I just think like Ostrobothnia, it's just so fascinating that it is also different, looks different, if you compare with other areas of Finland, and I really love it.
And the last question is, how are Finns, in your opinion, particularly in their professional life?
I think Finns are very, very committed. They work hard. They're very determined. So that's definitely a plus. And if I can say, well, they are extra polite. They are maybe too polite. And I say too polite because they tend, in my opinion at least, to take this to an extreme. And if it's a good thing, being polite, on the other hand, this can slow down innovation, because by being extra polite, you are not criticizing. And when I say criticize, I mean constructive criticism. It's very difficult to to see a Finn that openly criticize something, or maybe they do, but they do it in such a polite way. They're almost afraid, I would say, the stereotypical thing to this. That unfortunately, it doesn't give the chance of taking things to the next level, and that would be my suggestion in this case. However, they are unquestionably among the most reliable people I've ever worked with, and there is a huge amount of talent in Finland, and I think that as soon as Finnish people and Finland will realize this, yeah, but at that point we'll see flourishing, probably a whole new wave of Finnish success. Although, considering that it's such a small country, you already, can tell that there is something they're doing right, and I think, few of the things I mentioned, are part of this success. But I truly believe, Finns are definitely good people. I love to work with them, and so just wish them, great success for the future. I'm sure I'll, keep rocking.